Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Urban Stages Artist Chat. Today we have some amazing women spending a few minutes with us, Miss Lynn Petersen and Stefanie Lekkas. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Lekkas?
Yep.
And they are the director and the actress that are appearing in one of the 8 6 to 10 minute monologues that we're doing under the umbrella of a series called Heroes and Villains. Now, the name of your piece is 14 Messages to Gliese 832C. Talk to me about this name. What is this about? I have no idea as it connects to heroes and villains. You want to
So
start?
Gliese,
Go ahead.
Gliese 832C is a planet.
Okay.
It's a real life planet, but the story is a bit of science fiction. So that's where that comes from.
So is Ashley a superhero from this planet?
Not quite. No, she's a terrestrial being.
Oh.
She's human, but she's sending out these messages to this planet and communicating through video.
Cool. Now, the gal that produced this whole series, the amazing Bara Swain, she told me that everyone was given a list of quotes, like the playwrights. In this case, that was Eric Percival. He's right here from New York, actor and writer right here from New York. So they were given a list of different quotes from heroes or villains from movies and I guess comic books and whatever. What was the quote, Lynn? And how did that play into the title of this and this project?
Yep. Well, when we'd been given the briefing information from Bara, Steph and Bara and Eric and I got together via Zoom and spent about an hour, I think, just chatting so that Eric could get to know us and the sort of, I suppose, sort of preoccupations we have and how we choose to work. I've actually worked with Steph a few times now, so we've got a working
Nice.
relationship happening. And then I mentioned Ned Kelly because he, depending on who you speak to, he's either a hero or a villain or just a thug. So I mentioned that as because his final words before he was hanged was "such is life."
Oh.
And Eric wove that into the piece, and he also wove in the idea that people are grey, not black or white, in terms of being good or bad. Unbeknownst to us, he'd also chosen a quote from Pocahontas. Steph, you've got the words better than me.
I'm going to leave that as a surprise because
Okay.
I
That's right,
actually
I'll give away the...
Okay.
I don't want to give it away.
Yeah, I don't want to give anything away. I'm just curious about the process more so than ruining any kind of ta-das.
Yeah,
so we won't ta-da that one.
Yeah, it's an interesting process because really the playwright was given the opportunity to choose a quote and build something from it.
Right.
And there was no actual requirement in the brief for the character of that the monologue is speaking the monologue to actually be a hero or a villain.
I see. Oh, okay.
That this informs that the idea of heroes and villains can inform a completely different piece. And that's what's really cool about this one is that we have these two quotes from a hero / villain, like Lynn said, depending on who you speak to in Australian history. And we also have this beautiful Pocahontas quote that I'll let you find when you watch the...
Well, I can't wait to see the whole series because with the few interviews I've done already, each one has such a different perspective on this theme. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how they all land. Lynn, you mentioned, the Zoom meeting, the initial Zoom meeting with a playwright you've never met before. And a lot of the other people have not met the actors or the actresses, which is not uncommon in a project. Directors will show up and you've not worked together before. But how is this process different? What's the pluses and minuses about working through Zoom? And as a director, how do you bring your creative image to this different way of performance?
Well, I think we were blessed with the writer we had because Eric was very open to what ifs. And also he really nailed Steph's voice in terms of it wasn't unnatural. We didn't have to force anything in terms of Steph being able to embody and develop and create the character. And also, I suppose, because Steph and I have worked quite a bit before, it's not so much director and actor, it's more collaborators. So we both bring our vision to the table and sort it out. So so we did a lot of talking about, so how do we want this to run? What's the pacing? What's the intention? And we'd make suggestions to each other and we'd build it from there. So I didn't bring a hard and fast vision. It was more, okay, what are we going to make of this and how can we bring an audience along with us through the medium that we're using?
I'm always curious about, in the Zoom forum, what about the background, since this was another planet? Did you do something with special effects, or did you create a background without giving anything away? But just was there a challenge with that, I would imagine?
There were 15 different backgrounds. Let's just put it at that.
Okay. Well, y'all out there are going to have to come watch this. I'm intrigued already. Let's talk about each of you a little bit personally. I like to get to know the people behind these incredible projects. Now, Lynn, I know you're an educator, and I read in your press kit that the word passionate, you're passionate about bringing theater and education as a tool to use to bring people together. Talk to me a little bit about your concept of all that as an educator.
Yeah, I suppose, because the arts is all about communication and developing understandings from my point of view. And that's what we're trying to do in education as well, as get people to broaden their understandings and deepen their understandings. So using theatre and drama in education is a really good doorway in for students. So it's not always tied to the literacy and the numeracy, but it's actually getting them to think more deeply and think in terms of, problematic knowledge. It's not black or white, everything's grey. And doing projects across a community really gets people to work together. Mm-hmm. Like having parents in the classroom just to help is great, but if they're actually producing something with their students and the teachers, because everybody's working towards a common goal, they actually invest more heavily in it. And so I've run quite a number of community productions where the students and I work on a production and the students teach the adults and bring them on board. And that's just a great way to develop respect across and between all the different age groups. And we tend to do productions on something that's to do with the students and the parents' world. So they're really digging into, okay, so what does protecting the environment mean, and exploring it through drama works that they create themselves with the parents and their teachers. And it just is a really lovely way to bring people together and to get them to talking and thinking together. Because if we don't think together, I don't think we move forward.
I know, I hear you on that. That goes across the board, not just the arts. Stefanie, tell me about, I assume you're doing a lot of online stuff now because that's what we have to do, but what was your pre-pandemic career like? What are the shows or roles that you played and shows that you were in? And what's it like now? What kind of work are you doing now that we're kind of all inside these days?
Yeah, it has taken a turn for the virtual in the last year or so, but before that I was predominantly a theatre performer. So I performed obviously, but also a bit of a theatre maker as well. So I had my little go at directing here and there, and I taught drama to young people as well. The most exciting project before everything sort of shut down would have been Metamorphosis, which was last year. Sorry, we're beyond last year, 2019.
I know, it's like the whole year just disappeared, isn't it? I mean, I was telling my doctor, I was like, when did you last go to the doctor? Last year. And no, it was 2 years ago now, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Metamorphosis was 2019.
Yeah, that was an actual live on stage show with humans that you could be close to, which is so novel these days.
Mm-hmm. It was a glorious production. I got to see it, so nice. Really enjoyed it.
It's so weird now because I just watched, I was watching a TV program and everybody's conscious of COVID here, and the love scene was like a lot of this and no, like turning around quickly and like it couldn't be face to face or kissing. And I was like, this is really, and then I said, oh, it's COVID. It's the way they're dealing with the COVID thing, and it just like, it was ridiculous in a way. So it must be really, really hard. And I know all our Broadway actors cannot wait to get back on stage, but how can we do that? I mean, love scenes are love scenes. And even when people have the vaccine and whatever. It's going to be a new normal, I think. Are you thinking that, are both of you thinking that this is the way it's going to be a little bit longer? And I'm going to ask you both that question, but also what, if any, are the pluses of working within this new paradigm of Zoom? You want to?
Well, I think the plus is we've got to work with so many different people.
International.
Like never in my wildest dreams would I have said I'm doing an off-Broadway production.
Right.
Ever. So this is a huge plus. And I
good for your resume, Stefanie.
Yeah. Which has been nice.
Yeah.
I suppose in Australia we're a bit luckier because some of our live theatre has come back with reduced audiences. So I don't know how they're affording it, but we've certainly got some live theatre happening. In fact, I think Hamilton's opening in March in Sydney. So, so we're in a different place to you guys over there. I've been to the theatre twice now in the last 2 months, where you sort of sit every second seat. But so we're in a different place. But as I suppose as a theatre maker, a lot of what we plan to do can't do at the moment because we're amateur, we need a full audience to pay for our tech.
That's, I think, the biggest issue about bringing Broadway back, the cost. Even if you put people every 3 seats, then they can't sustain and pay.
No.
And what do you think about where we're going with this kind of performance, and how long do you think it's going to go on? Stefanie?
I think we're stuck with it for a little while longer on a global scale, and I think it's important to keep each other safe, and as much as
Absolutely.
It's difficult because actors, we're all over each other. we like to play
in the nicest possible ways.
In the nicest possible way, yeah. Nothing icky. But there's a lot of the work that I've done is physical theatre,
right.
And you can do physical theatre with one person. That's fine. But it's a lot more fun when you're collaborating. You get so much more out of collaboration, in my opinion, and it's difficult to work in that way in the current circumstances. And I do hope that we can get to a place where we can, get back to having actors that can rehearse as an ensemble and do that sort of thing together and be able to have enough of an audience that it's warranted to actually put on a show, because just turning on the lights in some of these theaters is super duper costly, let alone paying your performers and your tech crew and front of house and all of that sort of thing. So the benefit of the Zoom performance or the online sort of virtual world, like Lynn said, we've been connected with off-Broadway. Amazing.
Congratulations on that. That's fantastic. Yeah. And I'm so proud of Urban. I'm so proud of being part of Urban Stages because they do that and they think outside of the box and they present provocative stuff and they present stuff from different cultures and whatever. It's an amazing organization to be a part of. So, I think, how did you both come to it? Was it through Bera or other projects? Have you worked with her on other things? How did that happen for you, Lynn?
A few years ago, I directed a short play written by Bera for Short and Sweet. And part of my approach is contacting the playwright and just talking through what's the vision, what do you want the audience to leave with? So we built up that rapport. And then last year I did a multi-arts project, something Quirky This Way Comes. I'm a felter or felt maker. So through Canberra Felt Makers and with my impro and theatre connections, we put together a virtual exhibition gallery of finger puppets in various quirky positions. And then we developed so far, I think 34 short videos that use the puppets in some way. So Barra actually I reached out to Barra and said, would you like to write a script? She wrote 4 and she actually performed one. So if you want to see Barra performing, she's doing a monologue as part of this project.
Super.
And it brought people together from all over Australia and California and New York. So that was our first step at international virtual collaboration.
And Stefanie, did you know Bera or did you come to Bera through Lynn, or because you said that you and Lynn kind of knew each other, or how did that happen?
It all sort of happened at the same time. So this short play that Lynn directed was I Love Lucy, written by Bera for the Short and Sweet short play festival.
Mm-hmm.
And so we sort of all came together at the same time doing that, and like Lynn said, built a rapport during that project and kept ties. And then one of the monologues that Barra wrote for the finger puppets, one of the pieces that she wrote technically wasn't a monologue. The finger puppet had something to say. So she actually
They always do, those finger puppets.
They always do. Got to lock them inside today so they didn't take over the interview. So one of those pieces that Barra wrote, I was given to perform. She was lovely enough to write one for me. So that was really a wonderful way of connecting during a time that could have been quite disconnected, and still could be quite disconnected with our current global situation.
What are each of your aspirations and goal for this year, assuming that things go back to whatever the new normal is? What would you like to do? What's on the back burner? I always say the songs on the side of the piano that I want to get to, that type of thing. What's up for you, Lynn? What are you looking forward to getting to this year?
I'm hoping impro gets back on stage in Canberra. I really enjoy performing in long form improvisations, so I'm hoping that'll kick up again. And also looking at reimagining something quirky into a more complex piece and moving beyond the finger puppet. So hopefully growing that project, because it was a really lovely platform to bring people together.
Cool. And Ashley?
Ashley,
I just called you your role part. I'm so
That's
sorry,
cool.
Stefanie. See, you're so believable as Ashley. I'm calling you Ashley now.
Love it.
And the minute it came out of my mouth, it was like, Susan.
That's okay. I'll still answer to Ashley.
There you go.
She does, yeah.
I've got a couple things that I'd like to do. I've actually got a collaborative partner in Canberra, and we're looking to put on a family piece or a children's. I don't like to use children's theatre because people go, oh, you're gonna do like
finger puppets. No.
Yeah.
Our finger puppets are very adult.
Yeah. They're not all family friendly.
They're naughty.
In Australia especially, I think in Canberra especially, there is a gap in the market for shows that the whole family can go to, and that are sort of aimed at the younger generation, aimed at children, but there for everyone. It's kind of like Disney Pixar, right? You, as a parent, you go to a Pixar film and like, I'm going to enjoy this. There's
because
something,
there's those little jokes that are just for you. Yeah.
That's right. But actually the story is made for the child, and so we're wanting to create some of that theatre to Canberra, so that it's not just the blockbusters. Parents have an option to introduce theatre to children at a young age, because it's so magical. That first show that you ever go and see, and you're having to hush and be hopefully physically in a theatre, and their etiquette that you learn by being in that space and having something magical that's been written and performed just for you. So we're sort of in the midst of getting that together, and hopefully we will be able to do that in person at some point during the year.
It's so funny. You brought me right back to my first show by just saying that. I remember that moment that my mom took me. It was the ballet. And then I took my niece, who was 7, to see The Lion King. And when the animals came walking down and her face went, I was like, I gave that to her. That's her memory. That's, and that's what we do. That's what theater should be and is. And part of your mission, Lynn, as an educator, to bring that to people. Let me ask you in closing, let me just ask each of you how, if someone's looking for a director and wants to work with someone from Australia or an actress, how do we get in touch with you? Lynn, are you on social media, or is there a way for people to reach you?
Probably my email's the easiest. I don't do social media. Yeah. It's been a learning curve this year.
Let's just say if anybody wants to reach out to Lynn, get in touch with me through Urban Stages, and I'll put you in touch with her. How's that?
Thank you for that. That's brilliant.
No problem. And how about you, Stefanie? Not Ashley.
I'd actually say the same.
Okay, great.
Yeah, my social media isn't as self-promoting as it could be, I guess.
Yeah. Shameless self-promotion is an art, I'm telling you. It's I'm very good at it.
Good at it, I will say.
I hate it, but I'm good at it.
I've been to seminars run by Americans, and they're like, this is how you put yourself out there, and this is how you talk about yourself. And all the Australians in the audience are like, we don't really like telling people what we're good at.
Yeah. I hear you. Trust me.
Yes,
Trust
I'm more than happy to collaborate with others from around the world, and
Cool.
It's been a pleasure working with Urban Stages. So get in touch with Urban
just
Stages.
contact me or Bera, and we will make sure that you can reach either of these beautiful women. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us. I know you're in Australia, so there's been a little bit of a time difference here in trying to coordinate this, and I really appreciate you showing up. So best of luck with 14 messages to Gliese 832C. I can't wait to figure out what this is all about after having spoken with you both. So please join us for this wonderful series, Heroes and Villain, right here at urbanstages.org. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.